sign up for auto ship, you get an additional 25% off. Emmerich's Essentials is all about personal care, hygiene, not getting skin cancer, not getting bit by a bunch of bugs and mosquitoes. It's all there. Infowarslife.com, Infowarsstore.com, and you'll find Emmerich's Essentials.
And the fact that he said on many sides. And you know, when people start feeling, they stop thinking. And across the spectrum, you have just absolute frenzy going on right now. So what is the goal here? And the goal is that you create order out of chaos. You acquire power by creating chaos. And I'm afraid that this movement to create these events, that summer of rage, was kind of late in coming. Boy, they have hit a home run now. We are in for some real problems in this country. And so it's so important, Alex, that people like you and me are able to talk some reasoning into what's happened here so that the vast majority of American people who don't want violence, who stand against racism, and as a Christian, I'm commanded to love people and to tell the truth. And when you look at the violence that's being perpetrated in a myth and the attacks on the president and on anybody who defends the president, and that's another thing they've accomplished. They've been able to take, the term white supremacist and convert it to white nationalist, and then inclusively anybody that's a Trump supporter becomes a white supremacist. Anybody that's
and that's what this is. That's what this is. Not only were there actors there, and that's what I said, is they ship in a bunch of actors. They do this at every event. I've been there. I've covered it from Seattle to Austin. There it is in the news. There it is, mainstream media. There they are advertising. There's the photos of the actors. And I go, it's crazy. Sometimes there's even people that are clearly Jewish, and it comes out they're Jewish later, 18 years ago, at the events in the Southern Poverty Law Center, running Elohim City, the big white supremacist compound in Oklahoma. And again, they then distort that. But think about this. We know it's synthetic. Are there some real white supremacists there? Are there some real, Antifa there? Absolutely. But the orchestration, the police stand down, and the media hype, like this is the end of the world, and it's just so incredible, and America is so racist, and America is so bad, when gays are being thrown off buildings every day in the Middle East, and women are slaves by the 500 million of them. That's okay, but oh my gosh, Trump said many sides. You had Antifa show up beating people with clubs and throwing balloons full of feces at people and talking about trying to inject folks with HIV blood. And they're basically devil worshippers. Have you ever gone to an Antifa event? They got devil tattoos. They're screaming they love Satan. They're just running around literally saying, "Hail Satan." They have like green skin. They never get out in the sun. These are soulless, evil minions with a few actors controlling them, and they're bullying everyone on CNN and MSNBC saying, "We're allowed to be violent. We're going to hit you in the head with a bike lock. It's good because you're a Nazi." And that's the alchemy. First, you get a few Nazis. Then you call them white nationalists. Then you connect them to anybody that's a Trump supporter. And then by extension, Michael Moore and Potok of Southern Poverty Slime Center go on MSNBC and say, quote, "He's a white supremacist. He supports Nazis," when they're the ones funded by an admitted Nazi collaborator. And Arnold Schwarzenegger gave $100,000 to some nebulous group we've never heard of, probably not even true, because of the hate. When his dad was a Nazi, he said he loved Hitler to Rolling Stone, and the guy's an anti-American pig. But it doesn't matter. The Southern Poverty Law Center gives him awards when he wears SS officer belt buckles on TV shows just 6 months ago. He reportedly, people I know that know him, wears Nazi uniforms on holidays, SS uniforms in his house. And that's even been in the news. Literal Nazis are okay, but we fight Nazis, so we're bad. We'll be right back with Gary Haben. We'll get Owen Schroyer's take on this. Then I'm going to introduce Pastor coming up here, Rodney Howard Brown, because here's the big news. They got you going with all this faux outrage, all this made-up stuff. They're getting ready on the news saying, "We're going to kill the president. We're moving to kill him. We're CIA. We're FBI." Why are they doing that? They want to normalize it when they blow his head off, that it was completely normal. And they want to normalize it to their hit teams, that they must really be powerful if they can say it in public. I told you that last month's specials were the biggest we've ever had, with the largest number of products. And I'm just getting more and more into sales because folks love it and you respond so well that we're able to still operate and fund ourselves and lower prices. And we are calling it now the BuzzFeed special. It's last month's specials and the 1776 specials of this month. Hands down, the biggest specials we have ever offered in my 22 years on air. The BuzzFeed special is last month's and this month's specials all together at once, and many items have free shipping. All items have free shipping on orders of $50 or more. Rainforce Plus, 55% off. Survival Shield X2, the good halogen, especially with all this nuclear war talk. Everybody should have it. This is the purest form of iodine. Secret 12, super high quality iodine that BuzzFeed's analysis said we sell for $12 less than the leading brand that it's private labeled of, and that we have the very best deal in the world. BuzzFeed tried to attack us and said, totally clean California standards, and that we sell the #1 B12 in the world. Their analysis had to admit, okay, it's true. Excuse me. It's hilarious. They didn't know that part, so they said, this is the best B12 example, $35. Theirs is just pure B12, totally clean, but it should be, a lot less. When ours was $17.76 and theirs was $35, the exact same one, private labeled by us. Oh, boy, that's delicious. The irony of that is incredible. BioTrue Selenium, 29% off, $17.76. Inforwars select sortable food with promo code GOBLIN, 50% off. We've never done that. It's always 30-40% when we have a big sale. 50% off right now. You're crazy if you don't get sortable food. New Super Blue mouthwash with colloidal silver and iodine. Amazing. It is discounted right now. Silver Bullet, 66% off. Boom. Myco ZX, 46% off. Boom. Caveman, chocolate and strawberry, 30% off. Boom. Alexa Pure Water Filtration, 25% off. Boom. Alexa Pure Breeze, 25% off. Boom. Vitamin Mineral Fusion, 33% off. Knockout, 50% off. DNA Force, 20% off. And there's even more. Infowarsstore.com. You need these high-quality products. They're amazing. You need these high-quality air filtration systems in your house. You need to be purifying your water. We've got the best gravity-fed systems. We've got the children's fluoride-free toothpaste back in Super Blue with colloidal silver and iodine. It's all there, Infowarsstore.com. And when you fund us, it rubs the globalists in the ground, and they hate it, and they can't stand it, and they don't know what to do about it. Infowarsstore.com or 888-253-3139. And this is the biggest sale we've ever had. I keep saying, this is a big one. This is a big one. This is the biggest because I combine two, and I love to make fun of BuzzFeed. This is just astounding. I want to go to Owen Schroyer and Gary Haven, who are about to take over the full transmission today, because I get so much knowledge. I'm not bragging. It's actually like torture. That I remember the crisis actor companies in New York, in D.C., in L.A., in Seattle, in Minnesota's got a big one. And then I've seen the same people around the country that have physically attacked me and others for over a decade. And these are all washed up wannabe actors who also happen to be communist. And then they know you're not supposed to say you're a communist, so they call themselves Antifa. They're openly funded by George Soros. They're on CNN, MSNBC saying we're going to be violent. CNN says, yes, go out, attack any Trump supporter. They want civil war. And then there are websites advertising, hey, we have crisis actors ready to go. And I just mentioned this on Sunday and mentioned a smattering of examples from over the years. And the media just misrepresented it. But then I totally missed the point of going in. Millie Weaver and Gavin, too, they had all this stuff on Sunday. We're going to post it. Maybe they did, but it's like we already know this, so we just kind of just say it to everybody. Even though we have the total bombshell proof, and then it's a billionaire CEO, cool cat, rescue pilot. I'm not kissing his butt, but he's an amazing guy. Coming and going, hey, let's settle down. Here's the crisis actors. Alex, hold on. Alex, you're actually right. But see, they just had the Jewish part in there to try to discredit us. So Owen Schroyer, Gary Hager, this segment and the next for the pastor explains this. How huge is this? We need to make a big deal out of this, that they did bring actors, which, again, I just go with my spirit, my gut. I just tell the truth and then don't worry about it. And then the enemy's own attacks always turn against them because now they've attacked so big saying I'm lying about actors, but then they're admitting they had actors. This is another victory. Gary Haven.
Well, Alex, I think there's plenty of evidence here that that they've brought in actors and that they continue to do that on all these events. The design here is to create chaos. And right now, you had 100 neo-Nazi white supremacists and 100 Antifa. And this story now is dominated the media all week. It's put the president in a horrible position. I thought one of the most astounding things I've ever seen was the press event that Donald Trump held the other day for infrastructure. We're going to show a clip of that in a moment. Here's the sitting president of the United States and a group of reporters having a verbal battle. I can't remember in my entire life ever that level of disrespect. And Trump went on the attack, and it was extraordinary to watch. So
we'll play it next segment because we're about to go to break. But let me raise this then. Again, even Zero Hedges headline isn't strong enough, and ours isn't. It isn't. Why was this group hiring $25 an hour people a few weeks ago for the event? They say we will send anti-protesters to cause crises. They were using the words. We need to go back to that website we showed where they said basically, we will stir up an event. We will cause a crisis. We will, I forget the exact word they were using. They admit to going and basically causing the riot right there. And again, as patriots, we all just know this. So we don't even make a big deal out of this, Gary. Owen?
Well, let's remember, too, that you had Project Veritas release videos, Aaron Black admitting that he caused violence at the Chicago Trump rally. You have Bob Kramer saying he talks to Hillary Clinton about street agitation. You had Scott Foval talking about he looks for mentally ill people on the street to go out and do these things. So the amazing thing to me about all this coverage saying that you're insane for insinuating there's actors, well, how is that insane? That's been going on for years. This is a tactic as old as Nazis. I mean, Hitler burned his own Reichstag.
I agree. And here's what's crazy. You guys showed the one spot on their site earlier. I want to find that again, where it actually says, we'll go agitate, we'll stir it up, we'll destabilize. It actually says, we'll send in our actors for agitprop. Oh, it was to agitate. They actually say in there. I mean, this is sensational.
You are listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
The children's Super Blue bubblegum flavor, all natural, fluoride-free, iodine / colloidal silver toothpaste is back in. That's been sold out for 3 months. Sign up for auto ship, get an additional 10% off, cancel anytime. A lot of different specials on water filtration. We're extending the specials on the Alexa Pure Breeze air filtration system. Amazing. At $149, you can't beat it. Comparable units, $400 to $600. 888-253-3139.
In ancient times, man roamed the earth in a constant state of hunting or being hunted. Introducing Caveman, where cutting-edge science meets ancient super nutrients. Secure your bottle right now at InfoWarsStore.com. Leading a frontal assault on the lies of the New World Order, it's Alex Jones. Alex Jones Show, because there is a war on for your mind.
I remember when I lost.
Gary's right that they've gotten people in a hysterical mindset, and then the thinking process shifts off in most people. I've been hooked up to an EKG before just as a test. Mine goes up when I get agitated. I'm kind of a weird duck. I also get really focused when I'm very calm. Like I was driving 3 or 4 hours yesterday or more just to go to Mount Rainier, and I was didn't talk very, very much the whole time I was driving while the family was talking. But I get in this agitated state when my brain speeds up because it's just what Gary Haven was saying. You've got the president going $4 trillion stock market, 400 billion new jobs, 1.5 million new jobs, and they're just going, you'll never get it through. We're going to fail. If you didn't get tax cuts and healthcare repeal, you'll never make it. And it's like a 20-minute press conference, and they're frothing like he's a convicted child murderer, and the parents are in the court, and the bailiffs having to stop them. I mean, because you have frothing, cowardly, nobody media hired by foreign globalists that have failed and have lost and are doubling down with fake news and have hit the president with everything they've got and nothing's working, and they want to bully his supporters, and they want to bully other, never Trumpers to feel like they're part of the winning team and see, we're right, Trump's bad. These are losers. These are followers. These are cowards. These are people that go along with CNN saying, we're going to kill Trump soon, with CIA former deputy directors on. You people are idiots. You're not part of the power structure. You're going to cry out to Christ if Trump ends up getting killed later when the globalists come down on us and God judges us. This was the reprieve. You were given everything: economy, control of the border, sovereignty, decency, love, all of it flooding back in because Trump said, we're bringing Christ back in. We're bringing God back in. We asked for the providence. We're going to release the secret technologies, and the globalists are screaming, going, no, no, no. They want to steal that birthright of America. And now if you can get all the rhinos and neocons and fake liberals to buy into the con game, buy into the system and be the schmucks, then we're going to have this reprieve taken. Gary Haven, Owen Schroyer, I think there's no doubt of this.
Well, what I don't understand is, since when is the left beyond reproach? How come all of a sudden you have the right getting blamed for neo-Nazis, Nazis, KKK.
And the left's allowed to beat people up and say kill the president because they set themselves up.
For months. They're doing this for months, Alex. Antifa's been brutalizing things. I mean, look at the Women's March. Look at the Black Lives Matter March in Dallas. Well, yeah, years. Okay. That's true, too.
CNN, when cops get killed, say, well, cops are bad. They deserve to die.
But
we've seen them say, more cops are going to die because you're bad people. And most police departments are rolling over. I mean, let me tell you, they haven't put a dent in Trump yet, but you're right. Haven's right. This is getting some traction because of weak-mindedness from literal Soros-funded cop-killing groups.
Yeah, they use, if you speak up and tell the truth, then they use ridicule. Then they try to twist your words. They lie by omission. We had a real strategy here. Yeah, Alex, I think we haven't mentioned this yet. It's important. This young woman that died, it is a tragedy. I thought her mother, who spoke and gave the eulogy, was an amazing woman. I don't know if you saw that or not, but really an honorable woman. It
was amazing. We played it yesterday, yes.
Yeah. But you can't let that terrible tragedy keep you from being able to speak the truth about what happened here. And the media has been very successful at holding that up and saying that you can't talk about Antifa, and that's where the violence started, by the way. Antifa attacked the people, and Millie, with her great report, by the way, demonstrated that.
And saying that is racist now, saying that is evil, saying reality is evil.
Yep, we have to be able to talk about it. We can't be shouted down or ridiculed or whatever, particularly right now, because they are really mounting a successful challenge to Trump's presidency over a few words that he chose. It's just amazing to me.
Well, I think it's amazing that, to get back to what I was saying, that the right, quote unquote, the right, is having to apologize for things that were created by the left. Nazis, socialists, left, KKK, Democrats,
but they failed in their mind control before. The hoax isn't completely working. It can fade again, but we have to stand against the peer pressure and tell our friends, our family, everyone that it's total hype and mind control. Let's come back, introduce the pastor that was the witness to the coup plot against the president with the latest developments. They're saying Trump won because of inherent racism when it was the left that ran the campaign on a race-based system.
Yes, not only is the left tactically fascist, not only are they using the sort of tactics of the Nazis, but they also have the ideology of the Nazis. Let's remember that Nazism and fascism were both variants of socialism. The very word Nazi is putting together national and socialista. That's where we get the sound Nazi. Mussolini was a Marxist. He was the leader of the Italian Socialist Party. He was recognized to be on the left. He saw himself as on the left. When Mussolini came to power, Lenin sent him a telegram of congratulations. Why? Because Lenin recognized that Mussolini was a fellow revolutionary of the left. So what an incredible sleight of hand in which these leftists, whose political platform reads like it's right out of the Democratic Party platform.
And by the way, Dinesh, this is something You're absolutely right. This is something that leftists on universities say that we're lying about, and a real hot point from them, because it's a fact the Nazis were National Socialists. It's a fact that he modeled himself after the fascistas in Italy. It's a fact they wore black. It's a fact they wore masks. It's a fact they beat up their opposition. It's a fact that Hitler then turned against Stalin. They admired each other back and forth because he was seen as a rival politically and a rival militarily, but they had an alliance for the first year of the war where they divided Poland amongst each other. So we had the Warsaw Pact. They hope that's not known, that they are authoritarian and that socialism and fascism have different and left-right versions, and that it was the American left that backed Hitler early on because he was a vegetarian and a bunch of other issues, and he wanted planning of society. This is incontrovertible that the KKK was founded by the Democratic Party. It is incontrovertible that the Republicans passed the Civil Rights Act and took that system away from them, and they panicked. It is incontrovertible that the power structure got scared of American Christians and American Republicans and Eisenhower and created this whole new strategy to get everybody to go, oh, you're going to be liberal, you're going to be anti-racist, we'll take it over and make it extreme, own it, then double cross you later and make everything race-based again. Once whites have been taught to bow down as long as you say something's for racial equality. So they're using our goodness, our bigness, our Christian Western ethos to then bring us down. Live.com.
We are on the march. The Empire is on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pastor Rodney Howard Brown is with us for about the next 40 minutes. Then Pastor Roman Pena, good friends with Gary Haven, also part of the same prayer council, National Prayer Council with President Trump, is also going to be joining us. I'm on the road in Seattle. The crew is in Austin, Texas. Again, Gary Haven is there, researcher, filmmaker, founder of Curves, a billionaire entrepreneur, other co-host, Owen Schroyer. I cannot, and I'm going to turn the interview over now so they have more time. I cannot express to you the razor's edge we're on right now. Mr. Brown, who famously is there with his hands laying on the president a few months ago, and the media demonized it, went to Congress the day after that and was told by high-level congressmen they're preparing a coup, an overthrow outside of impeachment. And then he got visited by the Secret Service, and he reportedly went back and talked to his source. They said, no, we mean a physical removal. Well, we have the former head of the CIA, Brennan, who's a Wahhabist, admittedly converted to radical Islam, saying, you better shut your mouth and watch your mouth. We have Schumer saying we have 7 ways of Sunday to take you out on CNN as well. And then you have Brennan coming out 4 days after Brown was on the show and saying it's true at the Aspen Institute with Wolf Blitzer and the former head of National Intelligence, Clapper, that we are preparing outside of normal areas, outside the Constitution, to remove the president suddenly. Get ready. Both parties are going to do it. Prepare yourself in the next 2 months. Now, that was 3 weeks ago. We're getting close to a month out from when they say they're going to be done. And that's why you see the operatives on the Economic Council leaving him. It's why you see this whole hoax that he's a racist and never decried David Duke, never decried the events in Charlotte. That's why we now know crisis actors were hired, according to the Democrats themselves, and sent there to stir up the fight. We're not defending the white supremacists either. We're saying it's a staged event. This is their move. They're getting ready to try to hurt him in the eyes of the public enough to, when they kill him or drug him and say he's collapsed, that people will just buy into it somehow, and then you'll all feel disillusioned, and you as his listeners, his supporters, Christians and others, will be so demonized that you can be the new Jews in America, because that's what they've done. Hillary creates alt-right 9-10 months ago. Then she connects it to all conservatives, all Christians. Then, because it's her term the Democrats created, they can now define alt-right as the white supremacist, even though it's a tiny minority. Probably 100 white nationalists there. Maybe 5 or 6 idiot KKK morons. But it doesn't matter. The president says, come together, love each other. I decry the white supremacists. They don't care. They're going to beat this drum ahead of the big event. So we need to pray here today, not just cover this info. Now, after he was again on, they had Al Gore go on the Late Late Show and say, we're getting ready to take him out in the next few months. Both parties, let's work together. Then they had Phil Mudd. Yes, I'm not kidding. Our evidence is related to the doctor who helped John Wilkes Booth kill our other Republican president, Abraham Lincoln. He's from Virginia. We trace his lineage. It's crazy. His name in the Latin even means the man of the swamp. So a man of the swamp, related to the guy reportedly that killed Lincoln or helped John Wilkes Booth kill him. He was convicted of it. Is on CNN as the former deputy director of the CIA in basically covert action, killing people. He's not a pencil pusher. And former deputy director of the FBI. He's held both seats, works for the Democrats. He is Mueller's best friend, basically. He said, we're getting ready to kill him. Okay, so they're now on TV a week ago saying we're going to kill him. So talk about the pastor, what he told you being confirmed. We're going to go to the pastor here in a moment. But I wanted to play Mudd here saying this just a week ago. Here it is.
What was your response, Bill Mudd?
A couple surprises. Let me give you one bottom line. As a former government official, government's going to kill this guy. He defends Vladimir Putin. Their State Department and CIA officers are coming home. And at Langley and at Foggy Bottom, CIA and State, they're saying, this is how you defend us?
And Phil, before, I want to ask you a question, but Phil, just to reiterate, obviously, when you're talking about killing, you're using that as a metaphor. You're not
obviously,
talking about.
Yeah.
I just.
What I'm saying is government. People talk about the deep state. When you disrespect government officials who've done 20 or 30 years, they're going to say, "Really? You send Vladimir Putin sends officers home, and you support him before you support us?"
I just want to underline, Amanda.
Okay, that's enough. Trump signed the sanctions. It's all lies. He didn't even say that about Putin. Just it's lying to the public. They have nothing but disrespect for you. They're not going to stop lying. So, Pastor Rodney Howard Brown, thank you so much, sir, for joining us. I'm going to give you the floor now. Please take over with your co-host in the next 40 minutes or so. And that, of course, is Gary Haven and Owen Schroyer. But thank you for being the watchman on the wall that really, as you signaled this, then in the days that followed, the dam broke. This is so biblical. I really want to hear your teaching, sir. Take over.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on again. I just got back from a trip to Asia. I was in India, Sri Lanka, and Hong Kong. And everybody was so excited about the president. You know, not everybody watches the BBC and CNN, but there were many Christians there praying. People have joined the initiative to pray for the president. You know what I always say, it's a miracle that Donald Trump made it to the White House. And, of course, he's there. He's undoing the agenda of the globalists. And so they're so upset. First of all, the Russian narrative comes, you know, it's on everything. Russia. Now, of course, that whole thing is unwinding, and they're finding out that Russia had nothing to do with Trump getting elected. It was actually the American people. So now, of course, they stirring up all this other nonsense now, trying to get racism going, get a race war, get what we call an American Spring going, and then it was actually supposed to start on the 2nd of July. So they're actually running late. But I tell you, I believe it's going to fail. Because I don't believe the polls or anybody that says that the president has lost his support. I believe the president's support has grown. The American people are not stupid. They're seeing through the lies of the mainstream media that is now being what people don't understand. When the president made the statement about Charlottesville and he talked about both sides, people don't understand that Antifa was co-opted, and so was Black Lives Matter was co-opted. And there's probably people inside the Ku Klux Klan that have been co-opted. So all of this stuff is probably a CIA operation anyway to try to get a massive uprising going on in America, get a race war going, get a civil war going. But I tell you, we are praying, and I believe it's not going to happen. And I believe what they think is going to happen is going to backfire on them. It's going to backfire on the media. It's going to backfire on every plan. The way we're praying, that God would unravel every plan of the enemy and pull the wheels off of Pharaoh's chariots, that God would wreak havoc in the camp of the enemy, that he would turn on themselves like a dog on its own tail, and that the church is going to wake up, and the preachers need to, excuse me, Alex, the preachers need to grow a pair and stand up in the pulpit and call a spade and say it just like it is, and draw a line in the sand and tell the devil, you're not going to have America. God has heard our prayer. He gave us Donald J. Trump as a last-minute reprieve, and I don't believe God answers prayer by suddenly now to be set back And so I understand their plan to take him out, but they are not going to succeed, not on our watch. And we're not going quietly into history. They're smoking some incredibly bad weed if they think we're going quietly into history.
I'm going to skip this break so you have even more time. You're on fire, and it's total truth. And I had absolutely forgotten that Soros and all of them announced and spent hundreds of millions that July 2nd, the new revelation was coming. They were going to start race wars in America, and they think we're so stupid that it all fizzled out, but then it finally happened on Soros's birthday. They've announced it all, and then there's new levels of lying they're putting out against all of us. But as you said, you're right. Well, there's providence here, so please continue. I am going to leave now, or I'm going to be interrupting. I want the other co-host to jump in, but keep laying out what you're saying, because what you're saying is what's in my heart, what's intellectual, I understand, but also folks I know in the Pentagon, people I know that have been high-level CIA, State Department, not just Pachenik, they're saying exactly what you're saying and naming names. It's criminal elements of the CIA, not the whole CIA, but the deep state leftist, and they are so angry because he's turning the economy around. The blessings are coming back in when he, on January 20th, asked for God to come back into America and Providence, and they use the name Jesus Christ. I mean, this is powerful, and this is clearly a spiritual war because they hate Christians. That's why they fund Orthodox Islam to attack Christians. So you've got 10 minutes to break, or 12 minutes to break, and we've got the crew here. Lay out, Pastor Brown, what we're facing, and then please give people your website so people can learn more about your powerful teaching. You'll be here with us till 40 after, but you can stay longer too. We've got another member of your great international and national organizations that also prays with Trump, Mr. Pena, joining us, but please continue.
Okay, so here's what they're trying to do. Obviously, they're trying to label everybody as a white extremist, as a racist. Our church here in Tampa is totally integrated. We have every tribe and tongue. We've been working in the inner city of Tampa. The church is 20 years old. I can go anywhere in the inner city, and the people love us because they know how we've helped them and what we're doing. So the fact of the matter is this. What they want to try to do is go from what they call alt-right and KKK, white supremacists, and then label Christians. Conservative Christians are going to fit the bill too. So this is like almost like a Salem witch trial, where they're going to go on this hunt. You know, they first of all want to take out the president because he's actually speaking on behalf of the people. And I didn't see anything wrong with what the president said on his first statement or even his second statement. I can't believe how the media would take everything and just twist it. So this is obviously a concerted effort of the media coming together with one purpose and one goal, to just label the president and try to put pressure on him to just quit throwing the towel. But Mr. President, if you are watching or listening, don't stop. The American people are behind you. And here's the thing. In the 1700s, if you go back and look at England in the mid-1700s, about 1740, 1750, the UK was in the biggest upheaval. The whole of the country everybody was drinking. There were drunkards from the royal family all the way down. The British people had a bad name on the continent. In the rest of Europe, if you mentioned that you were British, they would almost spit. It was a bad name. All the music, all the plays, all the poems were foul language, coarse. The penal code was so strict because of the crimes were so bad. Human slavery was at an all-time high. But then God sent a revival that started with the Wesley brothers that actually shook across England and actually jumped across the pond, that really caused the first Great Awakening in America, with people like George Whitefield and Jonathan Edwards and Peter Cartwright. The city of Boston only had 25,000 people in the population at the time, and they would preach and the crowds would come. And there was opposition, of course. People would actually moon them. They would urinate in their direction. But the city had to pass a law that no one could sit in the trees, because as they preached, the power of God would fall, and people would fall out of the trees under the power. So that's what shook early America. And even coming to the 1800s in Cambridge, Kentucky, when 25,000 people gathered, the city of Lexington only had 1,800 people in the population. population, but 25,000 people gathered. So God sent a great awakening in the 1700s and the 1800s, and America was in an upheaval. You know, before the foundation of this land, you had 13 rebel colonies, but God brought this nation together as one nation under God. Yes, there was a problem. Yes, there were problems with slavery and all that kind of stuff. But through divine providence, this became a nation woven together by the hand of God. And I'm not saying that America's been innocent, because as you and I know, that America's been got hijacked from the foundation of our Federal Reserve. And then the IRS that polices the American people, all the way down through the years, how they took over the education, how they began to dumb down the people, how they even took over the seminaries, and they began to take the Word of God and make it of none effect, basically denying the virgin birth, denying the resurrection, and taking the power of God away from the churches. This was all a planned design that took place many, many years ago. Then you saw prayer taken out of schools. Then you saw the 10 Commandments taken from the courthouses. So we have a whole generation now that have been raised up. They have no fear of God, and they've been pumping the filth through Hollywood, through television, through everything possible, and entertainment, basically, to put the people into the trance that they're in right now. And you can see with NBC and ABC and CNN and all of these news agencies that basically are controlled by the same people that are basically pumping night and day. I was walking through the airport in Hong Kong, and there was CNN, and I could read the ticket tape, and everything was just attacking Trump night and day, night and day. So they're on an agenda right now, but I believe that we're going to see divine intervention, and I believe with all my heart that God is going to shake America from the White House to every house, from sea to shining sea, from Maine to the Keys to San Diego to Seattle, across the great state of Alaska, the Hawaiian chain to the island nation of Guam, American Samoa to Puerto Rico, that God is not finished with America. I don't care what the media says. I don't care what the papers say. I don't care what they try to stir up in our ineffective Congress or even our Senate, where that the whole place has been bought and is under the control of a cabal that basically runs the show. But God put an outsider in to give America one last opportunity. And I believe that we are going to see another great spiritual awakening. That's why they're so upset. That's why they're trying to do everything that they can. That's why they just label you. If you don't agree with them, then you must be a racist. Well, guess what? We're not racist. We love God and we love people. We love people of every tribe and every tongue. And so God is moving in our land. I have a Bible school here. We have had 500 students here this morning, and I addressed them. I spoke about some of these things. The place went wild. People understand, and we have every tribe and tongue in our Bible school. So God is raising up an army of men and women that will not compromise, that will not sit with one foot in the world and one foot in the kingdom of God. God's raising up preachers that are not worried about their tax-exempt status, that will boldly speak out from the pulpits of the land, and that will say exactly what needs to be said. And I feel it's happening, Alex. I feel God is doing that, and we are seeing a groundswell. I believe there are more that are with us than are with them. These people are a minority that make the biggest amount of noise and try to act out like they're a majority. And that's not the case. So I believe we're going to see the hand of God intervene in our nation. And I understand the planned attack to remove the president. But you know, when I launched that prayer initiative, we literally have thousands of people now that have gone to our website, revival.com, and signed up on the President Prayer Initiative that are praying around the clock. When I walked into a church in Hong Kong, a Chinese lady grabbed me. She said, I signed up. I'm praying for the president. So people all over the world are praying for America, praying for our president, and praying that God intervene as he has in the 1700s and the 1800s, that he does it one more time, that God intervene in our country. So I see all this stuff happening, but I have great excitement in myself, in my spirit, to believe that God has heard our cry and that he is intervening. And I believe that all these plans of the enemy, that God is just going to pull the rugs from underneath them. And whatever they set up, if they dig a ditch for us, they'll fall in it themselves. So I know that's maybe a little bit of different side from what some people would expect or want to hear, but that's what I feel right down in my deepest part of my heart.
Hello, Pastor. This is Gary Haven. We finally got Alex to get out and go on vacation. I got to tell you, amen. The only hope that we have, ultimately, because this is a spiritual battle. The enemy is doing everything he can to steal, kill, and destroy this country. And you're right about everything you said. I got to tell you, it was almost like a prayer for 10 minutes listening to you. One of my best friends is Pastor Ramiro Pena. He's on Trump's advisory committee, so I get to spend time with him almost daily to get the insight. We're going to have him on here as a guest in a bit, and he's going to tell us about Trump's spirituality. And I think he's going to say that Trump's a baby Christian, but he's a Christian, and he knows God has put him in this place and this time for this purpose, and understands that. And he is one of the first presidents in memory to have a spiritual advisory committee, a group that he met with very early in his presidency, so that he's sure to hear that what God would have for him. And the truth is such a fragile thing right now. What you witnessed on your trip on the TV screens, what we've seen all this week, is the truth being twisted and distorted, omitted in a way that I've never seen before, and I've been an observer of this for a long, long time. We have got the truth on our side. We have to be bold about it, and I got to tell you, your 10 minutes there was articulate and bold and amazing, and I want to commend you for that. And it encourages everybody else. People that are afraid of being ridiculed or made fun of because they're standing up for the truth. It just so happens that right now, the truth is that we have a good man in the White House who's trying to do the right thing by the American people in a system that has been stolen from us, a system that has been bought and paid for. Either side of the aisle, it's not a Republican or Democrat thing. These people are beholden to the moneyed interest. And, I made a movie, I don't know if you got to see it, Amerigeddon. The byline of the movie was they've stolen our country and it's time to take it back. And I believe that right now. They have stolen our country and they're getting more violent, more dishonest, particularly this last week than they've been in a long, long time. We have got to recognize this. And by the way, the only hope, and I completely agree with this, is Jesus, the author of truth. We have got to come together. I spent a lot of time in Haiti last year. I actually lived there 6 weeks, flying search and rescue and saved the lives of dozens of, guess what, Black Haitians. So I've got the credentials that people can't criticize me and call me a racist. We love these people. And by the way, you're South African. I've been to Joburg a couple of times. It's really scary that they're going to try to repeat here in America what they've done in South Africa. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on there and how we can avoid that?
Well, what's happening in South Africa right now, first of all, the borders are open. So unofficial population is just about 100 million. And we heard that right from the inside of the headquarters in Pretoria that does all the census. They said we can't announce it, but there's 100 million people. So you got all the Nigerians that have come down, the Zambians, many from Central and North Africa.
We'll be right back with more on the Alex Jones Show. Gary Haven, Owen Schroyer, Pastor Rodney Brown with us.
We're on the march. The Empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Ruthless offshore elites use their corporate liberal media to attack and demonize any Americans or any independent news that dare challenge their lies. 5 companies own over 90% of the media. And that's why, whether it's comedy shows, award shows, Hollywood, TV entertainment, the news, it doesn't matter. It's all focused in one anti-American, anti-free market, anti-family, anti-Christian, anti-gun voice. And it gets worse. These ruthless social engineers have an iron grip on our educational system and are teaching our children to hate America and that our president is worse than Hitler and needs to be assassinated. But as America reawakens, these powerful, deep state, rogue government forces are beginning to panic. They've even got the former president on television and in the news and traveling to foreign countries, bad-mouthing America, bad-mouthing sovereignty, and calling for resistance to our elected president. In a last-ditch effort, mainstream media is now legitimizing the use of violence against anyone that opposes the globalist takeover and against anyone who's actually trying to make this nation great again. They are absolutely intensifying their efforts, screaming homophobe, xenophobe, racist, to make them march, to make them go out on the streets and assault viciously anyone trying to exercise their free speech. International criminals like George Soros are openly pushing for civil insurrection in America that will lead to civil war. The beatings, the stabbings, the shootings, the burning cars, the looting of shops, the execution of police officers, all of this leads to the destabilization, to the martial law that the deep state and the globalists say they need to bring in their final takeover of America. We are America, and we are the Infowar. Of the 30-plus proprietary products that we've developed for InfoWarsLife.com, which are all amazing, DNA Force is the flagship. This highly advanced formula has been sold out for close to 6 months due to a worldwide shortage of these sought-after ingredients. Today, I'm very excited to announce that we have received a limited shipment of DNA Force, and despite the fact that we have been sold out for close to 6 months, I'm still discounting it 20% because I want listeners and viewers that haven't tried DNA Force yet to actually get a chance to see how amazing it is. The secret behind DNA Force is its powerful lineup of patented ingredients like CoQ10, systemic enzymes, NAR-lipoic acid, bio-PQQ, and many, many others that synergistically work together. Visit InfoWarsLife.com for yourself and read the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of third-party outside reviews that are an average of 4.8 stars for DNA Force. This is a total 360 win because you're getting the highest quality supplement nutraceutical with 175 plus studies to back up all the amazing properties.
So endless, life filled with sin, I wouldn't let.
Sorry about that, Pastor. If you would, please continue us about the South Africa version, because it may very well be a preview of what's going to happen here in this country.
Okay, so now you have this influx of everybody coming down, taking the jobs of the black South Africans, and they start to kill one another, what's called xenophobia. So it's black-on-black violence in the townships where they're killing Nigerians, killing, all the foreigners that they feel they're taking their jobs. But then you've got this group of people that feel like the white farmers need to pay for their sins. So they're going from farm to farm, killing. It's almost genocide at this juncture right now. I mean, basically, they'll come to a farm. I mean, these are wealthy farmers that have had the farms for hundreds of years. They'll come right onto the property. They'll grab the man. They'll cut his eyelids off so he can't close his eyes. They'll rape his wife. They'll kill his kids in front of him and then kill him. And just leave. They don't steal anything. They just come and murder. It's a genocide that's taking place right now because they feel like they need to purge the land from all the things that have happened in history. And of course, what people don't understand, that all this agenda, this is all an agenda that's been laid out a long, long time ago. You cannot do what you're doing. The cabal that runs the planet cannot do what it's doing if the people are unified. So what they do is they'll come in and cause the problem. I saw the problem now just in Hong Kong between political groups that are even dividing the churches. So you can see that taking place, even in India.
And Pastor Brown, I can't help it. This is so powerful. I hope you'll come back and join us more often. I know you travel the world, do such an amazing job, and my crew's here co-hosting, but I just can't be drug away. Specifically, you've covered the positive global awakening, but how the enemy's coming in against the Spirit of God. But specifically, can you get into how the Secret Service visited you but won't visit the former CIA deputy director that said they're preparing to kill the president, or the former director that said they're preparing to remove him? Can you talk about after you warned the world they came and visited you, and then I read that you talked to Congress again. I wanted to confirm that because I only read it in a newspaper. You have to check those, obviously, and because they lie so much, and that you did confirm that they were saying it was physically removed, i.e. physical coup. Can you just speak to those things?
Yeah. First of all, I never talked to Congress again because I got the story right the first time. when the Secret Service called us was due to somebody reporting us to Washington, D.C., probably a disgruntled minister. That's how things go. So anyway, they called the office here, and I was in 2 meetings a day, and I said, listen, come to my office, come meet with me. So they arrived, walked in, the main Secret Service guy, 2 other guys with him that he was training, and I showed them, I've got a lot of animals in my office because I'm a hunter. So they saw my elephant and everything, and we were laughing, and we sat down. He opened up a folder, and he said, so who's the congressman? And I said, I can't tell you that. I started to laugh. And he said, well, we need to know the congressman. I said, absolutely not. I said, I'll tell you everything he said. And I said that I was told that the talk on the Hill was that the president would be removed physically in the next 2 months. And I used the terminology that was told to me by the congressman. He said, well, we need to know who the congressperson is. I said, I'm sorry, sir, I can't tell you. You're probably going to have to subpoena me. And then I'm not sure what I'm going to do at that juncture. I'll probably pull a Hillary Clinton at that time. But the fact of the matter is this. I said, if you boys are doing your job, then you already know. Why you come here and bother me about it? I felt that then he tried to insinuate that I was trying to draw people to my website. I said, go to ranking.com. My website's been in the top 200,000 websites in the world for 15 years. What are you talking about? I said, I'm trying to get people to pray and get people to my website. What weed are you smoking? Anyway, it worked out.
Well, Pastor, let's talk about this briefly before your colleague joins us, because this is so incredible. They're already in the news saying they're going to remove him. You say this, then right after you say it, they go on the news and say they're getting ready to remove him physically outside of impeachment. Now they say they're going to kill him, which totally vindicates you, but then they tried to spin it like you were bad. This is this upside down world. Why do you think suddenly the former director of national intelligence, the former head of the CIA, the former deputy head, all said they're going to remove him or kill him, and Al Gore said he'd be removed the next 2 months as well? They all said exactly what you said. I've talked to members of Congress too. They're calling him up, telling him, you better get in line, you better not back Trump, or we'll get you too. I've gotten these phone calls, and of course they're in confidence, you can't say. There's an intimidation campaign going on. Now you see it a month in after your warning, the gear up for the demonization and the civil unrest. So let's speak to why you think they came out right after you spoke this, and clearly now you've been proven right. What do we do next? Obviously prayer is paramount. But in the information war, call Congress, call C-SPAN, call talk radio. What do we do? Spread this live interview right now, or the videotape interview of this, or what do we do temporarily? And I agree, it's all about spirit and God, and the rest will happen. But specifically, why did they do this? Right after you said it, A, B, what do we do? What's coming next?
Look, they were here for about 15 minutes. Then he realized it was a nothing burger, and then they left. I haven't heard back from them again. And even if they contact me again, I wouldn't tell them who the congressperson is. I've had people try to guess, but they must just keep guessing. The fact of the matter is this, that, like you said, they have not investigated the other people or gone to them, but they just tried to basically intimidate. Maybe they thought that I was a pastor who's just going to roll over, but they picked on the wrong person. I don't play by that game. So, Alex, I'm a radical. I mean, I believe in the Constitution, the First Amendment, the Second Amendment. We start gun clubs in churches. I give away AR-15s on a Sunday morning. So maybe I'm around a different kind of a church. I'm not sure that even some of the other men that are on the council would even do stuff like that. But I know what America's about. And, I grew up...
I understand you're victorious. God's a victorious spirit. So here we are. The enemy wants to say on their platforms they're going to kill the president. But they don't want us on our platforms to prepare the people to say no and know how much danger he is in. Can you speak to that specifically and just what it's like to be praying with him? And we have another pastor coming on who prays with him routinely, and what you think about the spirit of Trump and why God's chosen him right now to be in this key position and the great courage he has with what's happened to his family, him. I mean, I don't want to just sit here and talk about how great he is, but he is in the lion's den right now. This is such an incredible moment. Please continue.
I think the fact of the matter is this, that, they're going to try everything to try to stop him because he's already wrecking their agenda. Basically, he allowed to finish his first term, he will set the globalist agenda back 30 to 40 years. I mean, that's what's going on here. That's why you see the same people in the GOP that are attacking him, the same people like Lindsey Graham and John McCain and all of the and Mittens Romney and all of the other people, the same media that was attacking him. So what I want to say to Christians, obviously you need to pray. The best thing to do, I know, when you sit down to pray over your food, bless your food, ask God to bless your food, and then pray for the president. That'll at least be 3 times a day that you can do that. Then call your congressman and call your senator and tell them, we just want you to know that we support our president, because they need to hear from you. What I've learned is a lot of the people up on the Hill, they get the information from the news media. Well, the news media are going to put a spin and a bias and an agenda. So they need to hear from the American people. And I tell you, these people are in for a shock, because not only will he succeed in what he's doing, but he will win a second term, and it will be by a landslide, because by that time we would already cleared out all the fake people that voted in this last election that gave Hillary the popular vote, which was really bogus in any way, shape, or fashion that you look at it. Look, everybody has to stand up. You know, here's the thing. If we don't hang together, we'll hang separately. And if people just leave this thing alone and you think it'll all sort itself out, it won't. We need to pray like it all depends on God, and then we need to get up and go like it all depends on him. The president is a man that has asked for prayer. And I'll say this, he's been in 5-hour prayer meetings with people just praying. I even asked people, said, does he sit on his phone when they said there's no phone around him. He just, with his head bowed, and as people pray. He's a very humble man when it comes to the things of God. And I could tell you the way that he responded to us when we walked into the Oval Office. My jaw dropped open. Alex, listen. I mean, basically the president said that here were people representing the real power, the power of God. That's what he said when we walked into the office. So I don't care what the media say. God has put the president in this position. He came up against all odds with all of the other horses that were being backed, where they said he would never win, and he won. And now they're trying to remove him from office. But I believe if the people, the American people, the same people that voted for him, voted him off, but please do not listen to the media. Do not listen to CNN. Don't listen even to Fox. I beg you, please, do not listen to these people. They're being co-opted, and they're pumping an agenda. I'm just telling you right now. You know in your gut feeling, that's why you backed the president when he was running, against all odds, against every lie, against $2 billion thrown at him. He still succeeded. And so, to every American, to every patriot, to every person, even if you're American living in another country, find out where your congressperson is, call them and tell them, we just want you to know that we back the president, and you better back him, otherwise we're going to remove you in 2018 or 2020. It's time. It's time now to draw a line in the sand, and if they want to fight, we'll take the fight to whatever level needs to happen.
Pastor, those are powerful words. Well spoken. We really appreciate having you today. I think you've been very informative and really shown the true hope, which is this is a spiritual battle. And those of us that have a Judeo-Christian worldview need to never forget that and to take it to prayer. So thank you very much. Good talking with you. Our next guest is Pastor Ramiro Pena, and I've got to do a little disclosure here. He's one of my best friends. He also happens to be on President Trump's Spiritual Advisory Committee, as well as President Trump's Hispanic Advisory Committee. So he gets a double bite of the apple. He's at the White House probably on a monthly basis, and he's been sharing with me the true spirit of the president, and I think it's a window into who this man is that right now we all need to be aware of and perhaps reminded of. Ramiro, glad to have you join us today.
Thank you, Gary. It's a real honor to be with you and with Alex.
Well, Alex was really curious when I brought you up the other day. He wanted to know the heart of President Trump, and I kind of quoted you on that. He's a baby Christian, but he knows that he has been put in this position by God himself for this point in time. Would you share your personal experience with the president and his heart?
Sure, I'd be happy to. I met him July of last summer, when he became the the candidate for the GOP. When I was asked to join about 15 leaders from 12 states, national Hispanic leaders, to form the Hispanic Advisory Council. And I was honored to do so. The Lord had already impressed upon my heart that God had chosen him. A dear friend of mine, Lance Wall, now got a revelation of Isaiah 45. You're probably familiar with that. 45th chapter of Isaiah speaks of the king who the Lord chose, Cyrus, and said, he's my chosen, he's my anointed. And this is the 45th president. I won't go into that, but it's just how I got clarity in my heart by reading Isaiah 45 that Donald Trump really was a Cyrus coming up with God's hand on him. So when I met him, he came into the room. We're sitting in his boardroom in Trump Tower in New York, and I was asked to open the meeting in prayer. The media was there for that very beginning part, probably 40 or 50 members. They were standing behind me. I was facing the president, the candidate at the time, and in the middle of the table. And he sat down across from me, and the facilitator, a good friend of mine, Jenny Korn, said, Pastor Pena, would you open us in prayer? So I said, she told me she was going to ask, so I did, and I prayed like I normally pray. I didn't do anything fluffy or religious sounding. I just prayed and asked God to open the heavens to pour out his spirit over our gathering there. And as soon as I said amen, he looked up at me and said, that was great. Let's start with introductions. Who are you? And the reason I think he did that is because the Spirit of God fell in the room as I was praying. And this is a man that can pick up on the presence of the Holy Spirit. When the anointing of God's Spirit comes into a room or manifests, I have seen him perk up, listen, pay attention, even take notes. And so that's a discerning, and I know some will say highly subjective perspective, but I've been a pastor for nearly 35 years, and I think he would have a hard time. He's not trying to do a put on here or act spiritual all of a sudden, because it's been in multiple contexts that I've seen him just respond when the Spirit of the Lord is moving, or somebody's giving him a word that really is great counsel or wisdom, and he just perks up and tends to really pick up on the Spirit of the Lord. So I introduced myself. We went around the room. The media was dismissed. We had a great meeting. He was very thoughtful. He was a great listener. He took careful notes for about an hour and a half with 15 people. And that was my first experience with him. I've had several since then over the last year, 13 months. One more remarkable one was a private dinner in the White House on the evening before he gave the executive order on the Johnson Amendment. I was privileged to sit at his table. There were only 5 tables. It was a very small group. And his attentiveness, his responsiveness to the clergy that were around the table. And if I told you who was around that particular table with Paula White, his senior pastoral advisor, they're all national leaders. And I tell people I felt like a mule at the Kentucky Derby. But they were really great leaders, and everyone just commented on how what a great listener he is. And so there's no doubt in my heart that he is committed to the Lord and doing the best he can before God.
This is Pastor Romano Pena. He is joining us today. And normally we would be going to break right now, but because this information is so key and because our guests are so intelligent, we're going to skip this break. But folks, when we skip those breaks, we're cutting our profits. So please help us out. Go to InfoWarsStore.com. This is how we are able to get these great guests. This is how we're able to do this broadcast, get people like Gary Haven in studio. Take advantage of the BuzzFeed Mega Specials limited time offer, and it's probably even more limited than we originally intended because some of these products are selling out. Take advantage of some of these great specials. Some of our best products, most highly rated products, most highly effective products, Brain Force Plus, Survival Shield X2, and Secret 12 are all 55% off. 55% off, under $20. You can get some of those great products. Also part of the BuzzFeed Mega Specials, BioTrue Selenium, 29% off. That's $17.76. Super Blue Mouthwash, 11% off, an introductory price of $17.76. Silver Bullet, 66% off. That's under $10 for Silver Bullet Colloidal Silver. Just great for anything, an ear infection, allergies, a sore throat. Takes care of all of it. And right now, with free shipping and coupon code GOBLIN, you can get the Infowars Select Storable Food up to 50% off. 50% off, plus free shipping with coupon code GOBLIN. Take advantage of these specials before we sell out, folks. People are supporting us. That's how we're able to launch new shows, build new studios, and the products sell out. But while we have them, we bring you the best price. We take BuzzFeed's product. We cut the price in half. We thank BuzzFeed for pointing that out so we can give you a better deal. And we thank BuzzFeed for plugging us for free and testing our products. So we bring you the BuzzFeed special. And again, folks, check it out, InfoWarsStore.com. Limited time. We need your support now. Now, going back to Pastor Pena, you're shedding a light on President Trump that the media doesn't talk about, that nobody really talks about, and that's the spiritual side. And you said something to me that I could relate to that you don't really see from all humans, unfortunately. You talked about the presence of the Holy Spirit. There's a presence that people can feel. It makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up. It gives you tingles. It makes you feel like there's something out there that's better than you. There's something out there that unites all of us. And you're saying that President Trump is tapping into that.
I believe he is, and I think whether I haven't discussed that with him, but it's something I've definitely personally observed, that when the Lord is speaking and giving what I would call godly counsel, whatever the source, he picks up on it, and he lights up and responds, and it becomes very attentive. And he's done that. I've seen him do that on several occasions. And whether he understands what's happening or not, I don't know, because I haven't discussed it. I'm just telling you what I've personally observed. And he definitely responds when the Spirit of the Lord is speaking, moving in prayer times. I've seen him just open his palms up, just like toward the, on his lap or kind of midsection of his body, open his palms to receive what's happening, what's being prayed. And that's a very kind of organic, natural, normal kind of response to kind of receive what's being prayed. And I've seen him do that. And what he understands about that, I don't know. But I do know he does pick up on the presence of the Lord, and I've seen it personally.
Remember, you and I have had a lot of discussions about Trump's steps forward, maybe one back. Do you have an opinion on why he seems to tolerate people around him that tend to perhaps be from, the globalist community or the banking community? What are your thoughts on that? Do you feel like that maybe he's just trying to find his way right now?
Well, I think he is building more relationships than probably he ever has right now. And I think he, my assumption, my guess would be that he is testing the waters with people and trying to get the best wisdom and insight he can, whatever the source might be. He has a good nose for talent. And when somebody is really talented in a specific area, he wants to know what they have to say. Now, whether that's a good source or not, I think he eventually figures out and responds accordingly. But I think he's so open to wisdom and good counsel, he's trying to get it from whatever source. And, you and I might differentiate who we'd want to listen to, but because of some experiences or ideas we have about the world. But I think he's just so wide open to getting the very best information, the very best counsel from what is normally seen as just the most talented people in the natural, if you will. Then it I think it explains the broad spectrum of people that he's surrounded himself with. And other than that, that's about all I'd say about that.
I want to take that a step further because I agree with you, and that is his strategy. You got to put the best people in there, even people that know the ins and outs of stuff that might be globalists, just to show them the way, as Gary just said. But I want to take that a step further. How is he putting up with all of, in my opinion, libel and slander against him and his family every day, calling him a racist, accusing him of things? How does he put up with that? How does he tolerate that?
Well, it's interesting. I think one of the great things that buoys him and lifts him up is all people that are praying for him. He's told me the 5 most important words he ever hears are, I am praying for you. And I think it is the prayers of the saints, people that are lifting him up, that understand how dire things are, how important it is to pray for him. I think that's what's helping him and giving him the emotional and spiritual strength he needs to tolerate constant attack. So I posted several videos from the White House begging people, pray for the president, pray for the president. He wants it. He acknowledges it. And he says those are the 5 most important words he ever hears. I am praying for you. There was even a campaign of people sending him postcards just to tell him that they're praying for him. And I would encourage people to do that again, even if you do it once a week, once a month, whenever. Send him that note. I think that's what's supporting him and lifting him up right now. Otherwise, I personally don't know how somebody doesn't just completely wither under the barrage of any attack that he's under.
Had to get to ask you, Romero, but do you personally know Pastor Rodney Brown?
I've shook his hand, I think, at the White House. I don't have a relationship with him. I heard the last 7 or 8 minutes of his commentary in the interview. I'm sorry I missed the rest of it. It sounded just tremendous. But no, I do not know him personally.
Yeah, you want to go and watch that. It was pretty amazing. And it was almost like a prayer for 15 or 20 minutes as he was doing his discourse on what was happening there. Amazing guy. You should reach out to him, and I know you do a lot of public speaking. You and I have been on Jim Baker program countless times, kind of talking about how things work. Really great to see you. I'm sure this weekend you and I are going to go find a quiet place and talk about this crazy week. Any last comments on this crazy week?
Well, I don't think I could get started and we'd go off to the races. There's too many topics, too many issues. But last comment I would make is to thank you personally, Gary. Thank you, Alex, your whole team. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for being wonderful patriots. Thank you for speaking the truth. Thank you for your courage. And I've added Alex to my prayer list as well, so that the Lord would protect you, send his angels to surround you, and that more people would tune in and listen. God bless you both.
Thank you, Romero, and thanks for all the good work you do. And we will be back in a few minutes.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Today I'm Vitamin Mineral Fusion. Visit InfoWarsLife.com to secure your canister. We have worked for years with our chemists and scientists to create the most powerful and affordable, great-tasting multivitamin formula available. Vitamin Mineral Fusion Drink Mix at InfoWarsLife.com is loaded with a full month's supply of essential vitamins, minerals, and amino acids that your body absolutely needs. In the history of InfoWars Life, we've brought out a lot of amazing products like Survival Shield X2, Super Male Vitality, and so many others. With its unique delivery system and proprietary manufacturing process designed for maximized effects, this formula is the platinum standard of multivitamin mineral products. And this part is most important. The ingredients in Vitamin Mineral Fusion are either plant-derived or of the highest quality lab standard. That means it's clean. That means it's pure. And rest assured, you're fighting the tip of the spear in the info war. That's InfoWarsLife.com and Vitamin Mineral Fusion. Take action now before we sell out.
You're listening to The Alex Jones Show. You want answers? Well, so does he. It's Alex Jones.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. Owen Schroyer, Gary Haven with you. Roger Stone is about to be in studio breaking down his latest intel But I wanted to make a point here before I got out of here, and we also may have a video. I did a little undercover video yesterday getting people to sign a petition to remove George Washington from the dollar bill. So we may have that, as well as another little Easter egg that we found out. But I wanted to just have this conversation with you before I got out of here, Gary. With all of these people protesting, removal of these statues, this, that, or the other thing, it's all going on. I don't want to go to civil war over a Confederate statue. Honestly, that's not something I want to go to a civil war over. These are local communities. If they want to remove the statue legally, then okay, you're going to do that. But that's not what's happening. There is no debate. There is no conversation. And it just got me thinking. The real political debate that we need to be having right now is conservatism versus progressing. What areas should we be? Okay, here's an area where we can be progressing right now. Humanity is ready to progress over here. Here's an area over here. Well, let's conserve this thing. We're not really but we don't get that debate. We don't have that political debate. We get drugged through the mud of racism, or we get drugged through the mud of Nazi, or we get drugged through the mud of Russia, all this fake news. Humanity, us as Americans, we're not even able to have that higher intellectual debate of conservatism versus progressivism.
Yeah, I agree with you. On the statue issue, communities, unless it's a federal park, communities ought to have the right to say what stays up and what doesn't. Revisionist history, by the way, which is rampant right now. Kind of my hobby is going back over looking for true history. It's a fascinating thing to do.
That's where the real history is.
Oh, it's amazing. And we could have a week of shows about that.
And that's part of the problem is these people don't know history.
Yeah, and they just they've been spoon-fed the politically correct version. And that's what's going on with this as well. When Trump was defending in that press conference over the infrastructure, he was saying, what's going to be next? The George Washington statues. Right. And guess what?
He was 100% right.
That happened literally the next day.
Yep.
Communities should have the right to make that kind of decision, and hopefully they'll make it thoughtfully and not so stupidly that it seems to have occurred. I think what you're going to find, Owen, is that every Democratic community across America is going to have no statues other than the politically correct ones. Maybe it'll be statues of Hillary.
Bill Clinton and Robert Byrd statues. Robert Byrd has like dozens of streets named after him in West Virginia and statues. A KKK member.
Yeah.
But no one's protesting that statue.
Yeah. Who really, if you look at it as accomplishments, it looks like Hillary's accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing did he really do for the state of West Virginia, and yet they're honoring him as if he's some big hero. That guy stayed in that office for like 50 years.
It's amazing.
They had to roll him into the building, and yet they were continuing to elect him. I think what we've got to do right now is we've got to really take a stand about the media. And Trump did a pretty interesting job in that press event. He shouted back, "You are fake news," over and over.
Points at him too. He says, "You people."
Yeah, and I got to tell you, as unpleasant as that was, I think we thinking people have to
America loves it.
Claim it.
America loves it when he points to the fake, because that's who's really dividing us. I mean, ultimately, we should all be able to unite behind the CNNs of the world, the MSNBCs of the world, all these people spreading fake news. Because even the protesters, when I go out on the street and talk to these people, they know CNN and MSNBC is fake news. So I'm like, well, then why do you believe what they say? It's because they just want to LARP.
And it's easy. People are lazy. We're all lazy. And
that's exactly right.
We don't want to do the investment to think critically or to do our research. And again, that's a great reason, Owen, that you're here and Alex in this program, is you help people wrestle with the truth. And I tell you, sometimes that truth is unpleasant. But if we're going to save our country from the globalists and the diminishing of our country, we're going to have to fight for the truth. I think we all have to have a mantra. Okay, do not watch fake news. Deny it every time you can.
Just unplug it. Just completely remove yourself from that spectrum. We'll be right back with Roger Stone.
Why is the fungus? Why is the mold? Why is the yeast taking over? What is going on? What has changed? Doctor Group, the new product, Myco ZX, supports normal, fungal, and yeast-balanced proprietary blend of herbs and enzymes made with high-quality ingredients.
Yeah, fungus is a growing epidemic, and I've been testing this formula and making changes to this formula for over 10 years.
It's available at InfoWarsStore.com. We also have free shipping, orders $50 or more, and 10% off when you sign up for auto ship. Additionally, on top of that, please, we only have a limited supply of this. I want to get your reviews. I want to hear what you have to say. For me, it's been incredible. Myco ZX, antifungal, antifungus, anti-yeast. Get it today. Limited run. It'll be months till we get more. InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com, or 888-253-3139. I cannot sell something unless it helps somebody. And you can't support an organization that didn't fight hard. Look at the response we're getting. We were changing the world together. You are the InfoWar. God bless you all. As most of you already know, I am a voracious consumer of news and information. And in the last 4 or 5 years, doing more and more research, I came across the fact that the elite establishment is fully aware of the fact that our ancient ancestors, in many cases, had much better nutrition than we do today. And our ancient ancestors sought out the bones of the animals that they were hunting, killing, and then processing. And so I set out to develop Caveman, but to not just have concentrated bone broth from chicken, but 7 other superfood ingredients known for cleansing and supercharging the body at the same time. Infowars isn't just fighting the globalist. We're getting results, and we're expanding in the face of the complete media assault and winning because of your support. Caveman is finally back at the Infowars store. You can get 25% off the regular price for a limited time only at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139. A new shipment of BioTrue Selenium is now available at InfoWarsLife.com. We've been sold out for months. Our one-of-a-kind InfoWars Life BioTrue Selenium formula is now back in stock at InfoWarsLife.com. This is the true selenium formula that has rocked the nutraceutical industry to its core. Nearly every other selenium supplement on the market is produced with synthetic selenium, but BioTrue Selenium is made from a source of 100% organic mustard seed. The effects of the essential trace mineral selenium are well known, from supporting the thyroid gland and immune system to DNA production and eyesight. BioTrue Selenium is also the perfect supercharger to Survival Shield X2 nascent iodine, as both help support a healthy thyroid and many other systems. Visit InfoWarsLife.com to order your bottle of BioTrue Selenium before we sell it again. That's InfoWarsLife.com to secure your selenium and other key products that don't only help yourself and your family, but also fund our operation against the globalist. A360 win. We didn't ask for this fight, but we're in this fight. This is the time to support Infowars. That's InfoWarsLife.com.
Before you slip into unconsciousness. And now, the tip of the spear, leading the fight to take back the nation. It's Roger Stone.
I haven't seen the liberal media freaking out this bad since Trump won the election, and this might be even worse, because now, instead of almost breaking out into tears, Van Jones did break out into tears, and it looked like Anderson Cooper and Don Lemonhead were trying to hold him back. Even Jimmy Fallon put his show on hold to give an anti-Trump editorial, and Jimmy Kimmel is saying that he needs to go. What did the president do, you're wondering, to cause all this grief and to cause people to call for his impeachment? Well, when he denounced the horrible and deadly violence in Charlottesville, Virginia over the weekend, he said that both sides were violent and that both sides were causing problems. Well, how dare you, Mr. President? Please repeat that horrible statement that you made on Saturday, Mr. President, that is endorsing the neo-Nazi white supremacist KKK and Adolf Hitler himself.
I brought it.
What did you bring, Mr. President?
As I said on, remember this, Saturday, we condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence. It has no place in America. And then I went on from there. Now, here's the thing. Excuse me. Take it nice and easy. Here's the thing. When I make a statement, I like to be correct. I want the facts. This event just happened. In fact, a lot of the event didn't even happen yet as we were speaking. This event just happened. Before I make a statement, I need the facts. So I don't want to rush into a statement. So making the statement when I made it was excellent. In fact,
Oh, it was excellent, huh? Oh, what's this? Charlottesville's victim's mother thanks Trump for words of comfort. The mother of the 32-year-old woman who was killed Saturday in a car ramming attack during violent protests in Charlottesville, Virginia, thanked President Trump for offering words of comfort and for condemning the violence. Quote, "Thank you, President Trump, for those words of comfort and for denouncing those who promote violence and hatred," Susan Bro, mother of Heather Heyer, said in a statement after President Trump called out white supremacists and other hate groups during a press conference Monday afternoon. So the poor mother of this girl who was murdered thanked President Trump for denouncing the violence. But let's check in and see what CNN had to say about President Trump's statements.
We normally start off the broadcast saying good evening, but tonight there doesn't seem to be much that is good about this evening, because a few hours ago the President of the United States revealed so clearly who and what he really is. Today, the President of the United States ripped open wounds that have barely begun healing in Charlottesville on a subject, race, that has tormented this country from the very beginning and nearly torn it apart more than once. He ripped open these wounds so he could show the world that he did not make a mistake on Saturday when he spoke words that were ill-considered, untrue, and insensitive.
But what exactly is untrue about his statement? Let's check in with Don Lemon and see what he thinks.
This is a sad moment for the country, and I think it was an awful moment for the person who's supposed to represent the highest office of the land. I mean, today you saw the real Donald Trump proving all of his critics right in that moment. Everyone was sitting there watching, saying, "Here we go. His true colors are coming out."
These people are more upset with what President Trump said about the event than they are about the girl getting murdered by that psychotic lunatic who ran into that crowd with his car. Tell us what you really think of Antifa, Don, the leftist terrorist organization which dresses up like ISIS and then riots every time a conservative speaker is invited to a college
Mark
campus.
Dice, media analysis, social critic, political activist, and author. He appears in several groundbreaking documentary films, including Invisible Empire and the 9/11 Chronicles, and was featured on the History Channel's Decoded. His newest book is the Bilderberg Group, Fact or Fiction. That's got to be interesting. Mark, welcome to the Inforwars program. I'm Gary Haven, and I've got Roger Stone sitting here. What say you?
You know, never before has Alex Jones's Infowars operation been more appropriately named, because we're in an information war. And as we've all been watching for the last couple of days, they've ramped it up into levels that are really beyond Orwellian. And of course, they're trying to stoke the fears, literally glorifying leftist terrorist Antifa. CNN is now literally a terrorist propaganda network. The network itself, their anchors, Chris Cuomo, is glorifying Antifa on Twitter. This is astonishing. And of course, they're trying to hype up the anti-Trump fever that we saw brewing last summer when events in Chicago were canceled due to violence, when we saw peaceful Donald Trump supporters being attacked unprovoking their attackers in San Jose and in other cities. We're entering into some dangerous territory. So it's glad to be with you guys. I think that Infowars is doing such a fantastic operation. And again, never before has the name of this network really been more appropriate, because this is an Orwellian information war that we have to win.
Well, Mark, I follow your tweets avidly on Twitter. You're a real truth teller, and I'm glad to be with you today. We really are in a Kafkaesque-like moment. I mean, it's truly Alice in Wonderland when the President of the United States speaks an obvious truth, which is to say that violence, when condoned or advocated or perpetrated by anyone on the left or the right, is wrong, and he is slammed for saying that, as if because of history some people should get a pass while others don't. It's like saying up is down and down is up. It's a moment of true insanity.
It's beyond bizarre. It would be as if you brought your wife, girlfriend to a nice restaurant, and in the middle of dinner, you're like, you know what, this food really sucks. And she'd be like, and you're like, well, this restaurant sucks. And she'd be like, well, what restaurant are you talking about? You didn't name the restaurant specifically. You weren't really clear about what it was you were saying. It's absurd to nitpick and mince his words about his statement, which he made right after the horrific event happened, right as really when the details were still emerging about what it was that happened when that psycho ran into that crowd with his car. And not only are they just, upset and nitpicking him, I mean, I haven't seen them this upset literally since the election. This is perhaps even worse and more dangerous, because they're literally trying to brand all Trump supporters as little SS officers, supporters of Adolf Hitler. And unfortunately, they want to see more events like we saw where innocent people were being attacked at Trump events just for wearing red MAGA hats. This is incredible. This is really... Every time I think that they can't sink any lower, they do. But now we're into just dangerous territory. It became laughable about the Russia conspiracy theories. Really, it was almost dying down. It was almost dead. And then they found one little thread to pull on, and that was Donald Trump Jr.'s meeting with someone from Russia. They hyped that up for a few days. That died down because it's another nothing burger. Then Paul Manafort is being investigated. That's died down. I mean, what did he do? Maybe miss a checkbox on one of his tax forms? I mean, whatever it is that he allegedly did has no direct connection to the campaign. This investigative creep has now veered so far off the rails that it's going into just people's personal finances, no relations to this campaign. I can't believe that CNN, that these improv pundits, and that's what they are. It's as if you're at an improv comedy show where people give the comedians a topic to talk about, and then they have to make it funny. They have to entertain the audience, and that's what the people on CNN, MSNBC, all these the big three, ABC, NBC, CBS, they're improv pundits because they're given a topic they know nothing about. They have a role to play. They have to act it out and try to convince the audience that what they're saying is legitimate. And it's dangerous at this point.
I've been in the audience on those shows, and of course they hold up this sign that says laugh or clap, applause. And that's what the audience does. And it's about as genuine as being obedient to a sign. It's interesting. They the ones that have tried to stick something to Trump, and they've had to move through all of these events that you just went through. They've been unsuccessful in getting anything to stick. But what they have been successful with is keeping us from talking about the real criminals, the real crimes. I have a lot of experience in Haiti, where I saw firsthand the Clinton Foundation get away with stealing literally billions of dollars from the poorest of the poor. And not only was that not being covered, but the people that were going to testify against them. One of them just a few weeks ago was suicided on the Saturday before he was to talk on Tuesday. But there's just so many real things going on. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, for example, that they have been successful in filling the news cycle. There's only so many minutes a day of news. Successfully filling the news cycle so that they provided cover for so many things. Seth Rich, the DNC, claiming that it was Russia when they had actually discovered it, released it. So you got to give them credit. Even though we're frustrated and kind of chattering, trying to defend Trump all day long, they have been able to move through the news cycles one after the other and provide cover for the real criminals out there.
And it's sad that we have to keep fighting back and keep debunking them on a daily basis. I mean, these allegations that Trump is a racist, let alone a white supremacist supporter, they're so absurd. They've been debunked for literally decades. I mean, Trump's own inner circle. I mean, Rogers worked with him. You guys know this. Omarosa has promoted black women to positions of power within his organizations. It's so insane. Because the people who actually know him, the people who have worked with him, are just shaking their head at this. But unfortunately, you have the public, the general liberals who've just tuned out, are so easily manipulated by this. And now they're not only trying to paint all Trump supporters, to alt-right and racist, white supremacist. They're doing the same thing with anybody who is concerned about censorship on the internet. As you guys know, there's some protests that were planned. I don't know, I think some of them have been canceled due to security concerns. Protesting Google's censorship regarding the firing of that engineer over his memo, which laid out some basic biological and sociological facts about men and women in a very, calm tone, and now they're painting those protesters as being the same people who gathered in Charlottesville, Virginia for the alt-right march. It's so insane.
Well said, Mark. Taking a break now. We'll be back in a few.
Fully cooked, ready-to-eat bacon. I'm talking thick, meaty, center-cut presidential bacon. Savory and delicious. I buy some, I use some, I store some. Awesome. No refrigeration needed with a 10-year shelf life. NASA-packed technology. Bacon. Fully cooked, fully hydrated, ready to eat right from the packed bacon. Or warm and served. Life-saving, ready-to-eat bacon. 10-year shelf life bacon. Ships free at fullycookedbacon.com. Fullycookedbacon.com.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest price filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to GoBerkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com.
You want to save money in a place that gives you growth, control, and certainty without stock market risk or tax risk, and you want guarantees and you want it all tax-free. That's a tall order. But you can get all of that with properly designed participating whole life insurance. Most people think life insurance pays after you're dead. That's true. But you can have tax-free access to use your life insurance while you're alive. Get the free book to find out how. Call 702-660-7000.
Are you one of the 15 million men who suffer from an enlarged prostate? If your life revolves around finding the closest bathroom, if you're tired of waking up many times a night to urinate, then you need to know about Prostate Miracle. Prostate Miracle contains beta-cytosterol, which is 3,000 times stronger than salt palmetto. To claim your $10 Patriot discount, go to prostatemiracle.com and enter promo code PATRIOT. Or call 877-965-2140. That's 877-965-2140.
The answer to being in control of your own healthcare is freedom from insurance. Become part of a group of self-pay patients that come together to share in each other's medical expenses. Individual share amounts begin at $107 a month and $347 for families. Choose from 3 health-sharing programs. Holistic treatments may be eligible for sharing. See guidelines. Discount programs available for dental, vision, and pharmacy. Go to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Do you trust our economy? How about our banking system? Our president has stated we are sitting on a bubble right now, and that when the Fed raises interest rates, bad things are going to happen. Well, the Fed is raising rates here and now. There has never been a better time to turn your IRA or 401k into physical gold or silver with GSI Exchange. Call 833-GSI-GOLD. GSI Exchange can make this happen fast, and it's money you control, not the big banks. 833-GSI-GOLD. Ask about our bank failure survival guide and learn how your qualified IRA transfer can get you $1,500 in free physical gold or silver delivered right to your home. GSI Exchange has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Call GSI Exchange at 833-GSI-GOLD. That's 833-474-4653. Or visit us on the web at gsi.gold.
Shackles. Don't want no shackles on me. Don't want no shackles.
All right, I'm Roger Stone with Gary Heaven. We're here on the Alex Jones Show with our guest, Mark Dice. Gary, you had another question for Mark?
Yeah, Mark, I just want to thank you for the great work you're doing. I just happened to have you pop up on my internet last night and watched you. So, here you are today in front of me, and I get to talk with you. Really great job. People that want to get in touch with you can do it through. This is probably the easiest website I've ever seen. MarkDice.com.
And that takes me directly to my YouTube channel. I'm on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. YouTube is kind of my primary platform where on almost a daily basis I just debunk the fake news. Many of my videos are getting more viewers literally than CNN has, and that's why they're trying to shut down YouTubers. As you guys may have seen, they've been demonetizing news channels like mine, controversial videos, and they just may have kicked a bee's nest because just last week they demonetized Diamond and Silk's channel. They're the two hilarious black sisters that give commentary on the news and support Donald Trump.
I love them.
They're absolutely hilarious. They've become a YouTube sensation, internet sensation. President Trump noticed them during the campaign. They came out to events. And so YouTube demonetized their channel by 95% last week. Same thing they've done to mine, same thing they've done to anyone, trying to prevent them from becoming full-time YouTubers or full-time, news commentators. And so they have just demonetized, taken away the income of one of, if not the most favorite channel of the President of the United States, of two women who just a week earlier were invited to a meeting with the Department of Labor or the Department of Commerce to talk about developing their business as part of a program to help minority business owners.
Yeah, I'm going to say, Mark, I see this attack on Diamond and Silk as strictly what it is, racism. They're being attacked because they're black and therefore Donald Trump. It's outrageous. Mm-hmm. Where are the faux tears now of Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson and Black Lives Matter? Why aren't they standing up for Diamond and Silk? It just shows you how fraudulent the whole thing is.
Yeah, any black conservative gets attacked. It comes with the territory.
Yep. There was a young teenager, I can't remember his name, who was denouncing Barack Obama, making YouTube videos, and then supports President Trump. And, there were large portions of people online that were trying to hunt him down and find out where he works and threatening to come and attack him, assault him at his place of employment. And, where's the ACLU? Where's Al Sharpton protecting these people? You're right. Ben Carson's home was just vandalized yesterday. It's so absurd. And so that's why it's so important that on a daily basis, Inforwars and everybody just continues to stay vigilant. And, I see these attacks. They're not demoralizing the base. They're not demoralizing us at all. We're getting more involved because we see what's at risk here. And so we're paying attention. We're following the news. We're studying history. We're on a daily basis combating this insane terrorist propaganda that they're putting out. And everything so far has only backfired. They said that Trump wasn't going to win. He won. They said he hates every single thing that they've done has only turned out to be wrong. And we can use it to ridicule them and to show people why they should never watch CNN, MSNBC, any of these major broadcast networks. Their audiences are dwindling. If you look at their ratings compared to, in the 80s and 90s, we had major network television shows that would get a quarter of the entire television audience watching one particular show. 25% of all people watching television would watch one particular show. Now, there are tens of thousands of YouTube channels with 100,000 subscribers, thousands with 1 million subscribers, Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Inforwars. Everybody is now fractionalized, and so these major networks are panicking because they don't have the influence that they once did, and that's why they're really coming after all of us, trying to hurt us financially, hurting Diamond and Silk financially, trying to hurt Alex, trying to hurt me, to really shut us down because they are scared of us because we're so effective.
I think that's exactly right. What's interesting about watching all these talking heads is how completely fraudulent it is. These are people acting like they're upset. A greater concern to me, however, are members of the White House staff, members of the administration who are now telling reporters on a background basis how upset they are with the president and his comments and how inappropriate this is. I guess the moral of this story is if you hire gutless moderate Republicans, don't be surprised when they act like gutless moderate Republicans. The people who work for the president are doing him a disservice. He deserves better.
Mark, thanks for joining us today. People can find you at markdice.com, and
we're on the march.
You're doing a great job at the run. Thank you.
Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Why is the fungus? Why is the mold? Why is the yeast taking over? What is going on? What has changed? Dr. Group, the new product, Myco ZX, supports normal fungal and yeast balanced proprietary blend of herbs and enzymes made with high-quality ingredients.
Yeah, fungus is a growing epidemic, and I've been testing this formula and making changes to this formula for over 10 years.
It's available at InfoWarsStore.com. We also have free shipping, orders $50 or more, and 10% off when you sign up for auto ship. Additionally, on top of that, please, we only have a limited supply of this. I want to get your reviews. I want to hear what you have to say. For me, it's been incredible. Myco ZX, antifungal, antifungus, anti-yeast. Get it today. Limited run. It'll be months till we get more. InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com, or 888-253-3139. I cannot sell something unless it helps somebody. And you can't support an organization that isn't fighting hard. Look at the response we're getting. We're changing the world together. You are the InfoWar. God bless you all.
Hey, did you know that you can now preserve your own food for up to 25 years and still maintain its nutrition and flavor? That's right. Now's the time to build your own food storage with Harvest Right's freeze dryers. Go to InfoWarsStore.com to learn more and check out this innovative and smart technology that's easy to use. And let me tell you something, it is perfect for freeze drying fruits, vegetables, meats, dairy products, desserts, and entire meals. Woo, that's what I'm talking about. And when compared to traditional methods of preservation, like canning or dehydrating, you know, like what you get at the grocery store, there is no comparison. Harvest Right freeze dryers retain 97% of the food's taste, color, and nutritional value and have a shelf life of up to 25 years. Now that's what I call the miracle of food preservation. Harvest Right is truly the world's best, most affordable freeze dryer. So what are you waiting for? Check it out right now at InfoWarsStore.com.
Thousands of years ago, there was a basic form of chivalry. Our ancestors would hear the drums of war, giving the warriors of the tribe a chance to organize and prepare a defense. 60 years ago, when foreign air forces were approaching filled with bombs, they had drums of their own, air raid sirens. But in the 21st century, there are silent weapons for quiet war. Pathogens added to the food and water, to the lining of plastics that destroy our vitality, turn off our hormones, and accelerate our journey towards death. I personally counter this onslaught with Anthroplex. Anthroplex is designed with known organic concentrated herbs to create the basic foundation to normal metabolic activity inside the human body. Discover why Anthroplex is turning so many heads today. It's time for us to take our bodies back into our own hands, and it starts at InfoWarsLife.com with Anthroplex.
Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want to stop tyranny? Well, so does he. Live from the Infowars.com studios, it's Alex Jones.
Welcome back. I'm Roger Stone. I'm here with Gary Heaven sitting in for Alex Jones. We've got Mark Dice still with us on the line. We were talking about the faux outrage that has been manifested by the political establishment in this country while they try yet again to undo what was done at the ballot box last November. That's what this is really about. There has been, since Election Day, a consistent effort to destabilize and delegitimize the Trump presidency. Russia didn't work. The Russian collusion delusion turned out to be a dud. No smoke, no fire, no crime, and no cover-up. So now we've moved back to race baiting as an attempt to destabilize our president. But you would expect that the president could at least command the loyalty of the men and women that he's appointed to high office, at least command the loyalty of those around him. Joining us now is Alex Jones himself. Alex, welcome to your show. Yes, indeed.
The reason I called in is I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I admire Mark Dice so much. I admire you, Roger, so much. I admire Gary Haven so much. And I've never been somebody that's just about openly on air saying how much I admire somebody, but I want everybody to understand something. We are in a total war against pure evil. And I was sitting here having lunch with my family, listening with an earpiece to you guys, and I had to call in just to say this, that some of us have had our differences, like Mark and I in the past. Both of us were probably wrong 7, 8 years ago. We were fighting over stupid stuff. But now, at a spiritual level, we are up against pure evil that wants to end our free will, totally break up our families, and enslave our society. And I just can't help. I'm just calling to say this, even though it sounds cheesy, a feeling of strong kinship with you guys, and strong kinship with black patriots and Hispanic patriots and white patriots and Asian patriots who want free market, who want true justice, who want true Western civilization / Renaissance / the best attributes of every culture. And to know we're up against scientific, conscious evil. And I was going to call in just to make the point that what you just said, the Russian narrative was a fraud from the beginning. It's dead. They rode the horse till it rotted. So now they've got the race phase, and when you look at it, it's a total hoax because they have nothing, and it just symbolizes how nasty they are. And they're not insane. They are conscious. It's in the WikiLeaks. They said America's coming together. They want free market. What do we do? And it's top professors advising Hillary, and they say make them desperate, keep them alone, break up everything, make them poor. And there's rarely in history do you have choices between something so good, this new American Revolution, and something so bad, pure globalism, that is beyond anything Hitler ever dreamed of, and is literally about bondage and evil and social control and domination. And so this is the maximum push of peer pressure to make weak-minded people turn against Trump, turn against this Renaissance. They are all over the news trying to kill the recovery. They are all over the news trying to kill the economy. They are so pissed that people get it. And there's $4 trillion in the stock market and on all this other great news, 400 billion in new jobs, 1.5 million new jobs. And they keep saying failure, 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 hissing at him like a movie, the media like snakes hissing, like nothing I've ever seen, going, you'll never get your infrastructure. And he finally goes, one person has an infrastructure. He goes, the last question. People want to play that, so it's the last part of the 20-minute press conference. And the guy goes, you didn't get tax cuts, and you didn't get the other stuff, and you didn't get Obamacare repeal. You'll never get it. He's like betting against America, betting against everything, just with executive power. He has turned it all around with us believing and investing and understanding and getting involved. And it's so epic that I cannot believe how real this is, and that our lifetime, we are witnessing such a clear-cut choice, and it's beyond. It's 1,000 times wanting my football team to win in sudden death overtime. You know, games I watched in the bleachers. I mean, I've been at Super Bowl games back when I was like 18 years old. You know, paying $500 a ticket. You know, watching sudden death overtime games. And just everything mattered. That my team win, and when they did, I thought I was in heaven. This is 1,000 times that. This is the real game for my children, your children, and all of us that are in this fight. It's so precious what all of us are doing, not to recognize ourselves as great, but to realize we are the opposition, and to recognize our listeners, and to recognize how incredibly important this is. And when I see the strength of Roger, or I see the strength of Gary, or I see the strength of David Knight, the strength of somebody like Mark Dice, who just gets stronger and stronger and stronger, it makes me feel strong. And it's so good to understand that spiritually, we're not envious, hateful people, that we've thrown off the spirit of the world. We're not perfect. And that literally it is the spirit of Christ that is going to defeat the enemy. And I just feel such kinship to all of you and the listeners that I just wanted to call in and tell you guys how much I love you and how much I appreciate you, because, gosh, we're up against evil. But you know what? We're going to come through this together. And hearing that pastor last hour and his spirit, both pastors, Pastor Pena and Pastor Brown, this is so real. And you see people bullied by the world, bullied by peer pressure, believing they're on the real team. I've had people in Seattle, 99% come over and tell me they love me, probably 400 people before I came down the street. But I've had 3-4 people walk over, 1 out of 100 literally, and go, F you, Alex Jones, we hate you, and point at me in public when I'm walking down the street with like it hurts me, like their peer pressure hurts me. And I realize they're slaves. Thank God we're not like them. Thank God that we're not total fallen and wicked, but we want to be with God. We want to be good, and that's the difference. I just want to say, this is an epic time. We need to pray for justice, pray for truth, come together. I've never been a racist person, but I've been tribal, and I've been sick of people telling me I'm racist, and I've had thoughts that aren't good. But I want to say this: this helped me transcend completely any classism or racism I had. I'm tired of being brought up in Dallas and being told I was racist, told I was bad, physically attacked because of who I was. I have transcended it completely because I'm not going to be part of the enemy who claims they're trying to transcend racism when they're the ones pushing it. We all have souls. We all are made by the Creator. We're all brothers and sisters. And I want everybody to know, no matter what color they are, I love you. And I don't even hate Islam, except it was created by the evil to oppress people. I love the people. I hate their system of control. And I just want to say I love you guys, and I appreciate you, and take over. Sorry, I'm always calling in. The broadcast is so powerful, and the Spirit of God being risen up against the enemy as the full spirit of evil rises up. For every action, there's an opposite equal reaction, and we can all feel it. It is so electrical, and we are now all literally that stay the course for truth and justice and say no to the peer pressure. Every level we go up like a game, but it's the real world. Those are facsimiles copying reality. We become even stronger, and it's not a power trip. It's humbling. These evil people are looking for power. They have no idea that just tuning into God, there's so much power. You'll be completely humbled. So back to Mark Dyson, you guys, amazing job. It's amazing listening to you, and it's amazing knowing we have Nico and the rest of the great crew that put up with me and so much and worked so hard, everybody in the whole office, to bring you this transmission. This is truly beautiful, and it's history happening, and I didn't come up with Inforwars on my own. I just literally, it was spiritual. This whole fight has been preparing us every way, and every level we go up, God gives us even more strength to face the enemy, and every time we come through, even if we're defeated individually, it's part of a larger plan, and know that God is God, not the God of this world, the devil. Back to you, great American patriots, great humans. I love you guys. I just wanted to let you know that.
Thank you, Alex. Now I think it'd probably be a terrific time to point out to you that we don't have a George Soros writing big checks in the background. We don't get big money from the Ford Foundation or the Rockefeller Foundation. We have to count on you to keep the doors open and to realize the expansion that Alex Jones has in mind. I ask you to go to the Inforwars store now. Now, some of you may recently have seen the attack on the Inforwars store by Ben Smith's BuzzFeed. By the way, if you're interested in funny cat videos, that is the best place to go. But I want to thank the folks at BuzzFeed because we actually had a substantial uptick in our sales at Inforwars as patriots found us and found these terrific products. No product will go online at the Inforwars store that hasn't been rigorously tested and where we don't have hundreds and in many cases thousands of testimonials of satisfied patriots. So you've got a 1776 special now at the store, and these prices blow my mind. Brain Force, by which I would not be able to do this show right now, 55% off, $17.76. This stuff is terrific in terms of helping you with your focus and to kind of gather your mental energy. Survival Shield X2, again, 55% off at $17.76. Secret 12, 55% off. These are the very best of the best products at the site. Silver Bullet, 66% off, only $9.95. So do yourself a favor, do us a favor, do the freedom movement a favor. If we're not here, there will be no voice in opposition to what the CNNs and the MSNBCs and the networks are saying. So support us with your dollars, and we will support you with the truth. Gary?
Yeah, Mark, glad you stayed with us. Alex called in and had to share that with you. And I tell you what, I'm honored to have words said about me. How do you feel about that?
It's been an honor to watch Alex's operation grow from just a website back in 2005 when I discovered it. That was streaming the radio show to, kind of an early YouTube channel with Alex just broadcasting with a black curtain in the back to now what Inforwars is today, a full-blown, fully functioning, global media operation with reporters and contributors, the best guests, the best reporters. I've seen his crew grow over the years, and he's got such a great team now. And let's face it, they want Infowars shut down, and they want Alex Jones dead or in jail. And that's not an exaggeration. And that's why BuzzFeed did some testing on the Infowars supplements. They were hoping to find that they were being falsely advertised, hoping to turn that over to the FDA, hoping to get Alex indicted. And they are trying and hoping, praying to their Lord Lucifer to shut down Infowars. So it's very important that everybody watch, everybody's back. It's great to be a part of the Infowars family, to see Alex's operation grow from just a small website to what it is today. And it's incredible to see the mainstream media now almost every day attacking Alex. And that's when you know that he's doing the right thing, is when these liberal comedian propagandists like Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel are attacking him. You know then that Alex is doing the right thing. So it's great to be a part